Albacete is a city and municipality in southeastern Spain, 262 kilometers by road southeast of Madrid, and is the capital of the province of Albacete in the autonomous community of Castilla-La Mancha. It is located to the southeast of the Meseta Central in the historic region of La Mancha, specifically in the historic region of La Mancha de Montearagón. It currently falls within the region of Los Llanos, being the only municipality in this region. The city is the seat of Judicial District No. 1 in the province, the seat of the diocese that bears the same name, and the seat of the High Court of Justice of Castilla-La Mancha, the highest court in the autonomous community. The municipality of Albacete is the seventh largest in Spain with 1,125.91 kilometers (2). In 2013, the city had 172,693 inhabitants, rising to 219,121 in the metropolitan area, being the city with the highest number of inhabitants in all Castilla-La Mancha, and one of the main urban areas of the country. From the mid-20th century, the city underwent major population growth which is reflected in its extensive commercial area which encompasses more than 556,723 people from 154 municipalities. At present, Albacete is a modern capital with large areas for pedestrians and green areas that make it one of the 10 cities with more than 100,000 inhabitants with the lowest presence of pollution in all Europe. Further, its flat area and the elimination of architectural barriers have also led it to be one of the most accessible cities across the country, and the sixth with the highest quality of life, according to a study by the Organization of Consumers and Users, 2012. Albacete is a commercial and industrial city, a major communications hub, which is well connected by highways and by rail and air passage via its airport that connects it with various locations in the Spanish territory. The city has been known as a center for the manufacture of fine daggers, scissors, and knives. An assembly plant of Eurocopter, a subsidiary of EADS, began operation in 2007. The industrial area in the city, known as Polígono de Campilano, has recently been expanded as it is one of the biggest industrial parks in Spain. The local government is pushing to make Albacete a logistics center in the southeastern part of Spain. The writer, novelist, essayist and literary critic Azorín, described the city of Albacete in a poem as the New York of La Mancha. The city has many festivals and traditions, among which should be highlighted the Feria de Albacete, declared of international tourist interest, which is held from 7 to September 17 in honor of the Virgin of Los Llanos, and numerous regional events of a national and international nature such as the European Truck Championship, or the International Circus Festival, and even trade fairs and exhibitions. The aviation industry is one of the main economic drivers of the city, as well as the Albacete Air and Logistics Park, home to major companies. The city also hosts the training center for NATO pilots. Albacete, together with Ciudad Real, has one of the main campuses of the University of Castilla-La Mancha. It is estimated that between 9,000 and 10,000 students study at any of the schools that the regional university currently has in the city. Albacete is not known as a tourist destination, but its sites include the cathedral and the Museo de Albacete. From the beginning of the 20th century, the city began gaining importance as, during the Spanish Civil War, it was the headquarters and training camp of the International Brigades, whose political commissar was Andrew Copyright Martí, also known as the Butcher of Albacete. Albacete is home to the football team Albacete Balompié Copyright. Identifying elements toponym the toponym of Albacete is derived from the Andalusian name for the area, the city having been originally called Omo al-Cubed Yuso Albacete, in Arabic, which translates to the plain in reference to the plateau that characterizes the geography of the area. Pascual Maiders in his famous Diccionario Geográfico Statistico Hista Cubed Rico de Aspar plus or minus ay suppositions de ultramar indicates the two hypotheses about the toponym of Albacete are probable. In the first place he highlights the proposal suggested by Bernardo Espinalt y Garcia, who believes that the city was founded by the Cilicians, who called it Keltide relying on Lut Prando de Cremona, in Hispaniam veniens Keltide vocaverant hunc locum, quem vocem Albacene corrupt Mauri. The second hypothesis states that its origin may be the Alba of the Celtiberians, mentioned by Plinio y Ptolemy, which could result in Alba Civitas, which later became Albast. Demonym the most common adjective used to describe the inhabitants of the town of Albast is Albastans or Albastia plus or minus OA, without prejudice to the demonyms used for the inhabitants of the various population centers that make up the area, such as the Agua Nuevas or Colonos for the neighboring Aguas Nuevas inhabitants. Symbols the Shield of Albast. According to a resolution adopted by the Plenary Council, in a session held on February 28, 1986, the Shield of Albast is described as follows: the city of Albast has as its shield 3 towers neatly arranged on a silver background with battlements, of stone, sabre embroidered in azure, clarified and surmounted by a sabre bat with outstretched wings positioned at the top. It is stamped with a marquee crown, which is gold with stones and pearls, with 8 rosettes. But the agreement contained a typo, and saying 3 towers well ordered, which heraldically would mean 2 towers above and 1 below. On being 1 above and 2 below, the descriptions should read 3 towers wrongly ordered. Later the official Journal of Castilla-La Mancha published on January 13, 1987, Decree 137/86 of December 30, from the Presidency and Government of the Community Board, which approved the amendment of the heraldic shield of the city of Albast, without making corrections to the description of the ordering of the towers. Flag. According to the resolution adopted by the City Council plenary in a session dated April 30, 1992, the City Council acknowledged the order of the Ministry of Public Administration, dated March 9 of that year, through which the municipality of Albast was granted a flag, with the following description. Crimson red canvas, dimensions 90 cm, 155 cm with the Albast shield encamped in the center, according to the amendment by Decree 137/86 of December 30. The dimensions of the shield are 40 cm high, excluding the crown, and 56 cm if included, with a width of 30 cm. Anthem. The anthem was launched on September 8, 1926, Day of the Virgin of Los Llanos, in what was referred to as the Provincial Anthem Feast, which took place at the Plaza de Toros in the Albast capital. The Municipal Band of Albast and Spanish Infantry Regiment, among others, performed at this event. On the night of San Juan in 1975, the song was re-released at the Teatro Seco de Albast by the Albast Municipal Band and the La Mancha Choir, becoming a hallmark of the capital. Capital status. The 19th century marked the development of the city, given that in 1833 the province of Albast had been created with territories from the former territories of Cuenca, Murcia and La Mancha, Albast being accorded the rank of capital. The following year, in 1834, the Albast court was established to exercise jurisdiction over a large territory that comprised the provinces of Ciudad Real, Cuenca and Murcia and the aforementioned Albast, and which would be the antecedent to the current legal capital of Castilla-La Mancha after the adoption of autonomous state in the last quarter of the 20th century, the city being the seat of the High Court of Justice of Castilla-La Mancha, according to Article 23 of the Statute of Autonomy of the Community. History. The origins of the city are uncertain, although the first few confirmations of its existence are found during the Moorish domination of the area. The earliest documentation is from 1269, when Albast was only a small village, dependent on the borough of Chinchilla. Before that, it had been a small Moorish village. Its name is derived from the Arabic Omo al-Cubed Usho Albacete I, Eleanor referring to the planiform nature of the geography of the area. It was taken by Christian troops in 1241 and was under the dominion of Alarcon. Around the first third of the 14th century, in the time of the famous writer Don Juan Manuel, Prince of Villena, who was the governor of Murcia and, therefore the lord of these lands, which were to become later the Marquisate of Villena, the village began to develop and its population to increase. In 1375 it was considered a borough and became independent of Chinchilla, and a century later, in 1476, the Catholic monarchs rewarded Albast for supporting the crown by granting it a license to hold a market once a week. During the revolt of the Comuneros, After initial protests, Albacete supported the new Emperor Charles V who, in 1526, granted the feudal estate of the town to his wife, the Empress Isabella of Portugal. During this period, buildings started on the Church of San Juan Bautista, which was later to become a cathedral. Albacete is located in a strategic position between Madrid and the east coast of Spain, and its agricultural wealth led to the growth of the borough during the next few centuries until Philip V granted permission for an annual fair. This fair was later held in an enclosure built by Charles III. The railway reached Albacete in 1855, and the Madrid-Alicante route passed through the town. Later, Albacete was also connected by rail to Cartagena. In 1862, Isabel II granted Albacete the title of town. Street electric lighting was inaugurated in 1888, thus being the first capital of a province in Spain with electric lighting in its streets. Throughout the 19th century, the population of the town doubled from the 10,000 inhabitants at the beginning of the century to around 21,000 by the beginning of the 20th century. During this period, Albacete defended Queen Isabel II against the Carlists, supported Espartero and, just like other Spanish cities, constituted a revolutionary junta. During the long period of the Restoration, symptoms of caciquismo invaded the political and social life of Albacete. Between 1900 and the end of the Spanish Civil War, the population tripled. A number of basic public works date back to that time: the water supply and sewer system, the Abelardo Sanchez Park, Tezafonte Gallego Street, and the industrial area of the town. During the Spanish Civil War, after a brief lapse in the power of the troops who had rebelled against the Republican government, the town fell back into the hands of Madrid. For most of the war, the airbase at Los Llanos was the main headquarters of the Republican Air Force. It was also the headquarters of the International Brigades, and a monument has been built recently to commemorate the 60 years anniversary of those events. The first volume of Peter Weiss' novel The Aesthetics of Resistance is located in Albacete Civil War Days Hospital O Cueva La Potita A. In the time of the transition to democracy, the two most significant events were the establishment in Albacete in 1982 of the High Court of Justice of Castilla-La Mancha, Casa de Caivedo, and the consolidation of the university, which brought new life to the town in 1985. Modern age Albacete has become the most important town in the Castilla-La Mancha region, with unparalleled services and industrial activity, due to its position on the excellent train and highway communications that link Madrid to the eastern coast of Spain. The university has 10,000 students that feed a lot of clubs, bars and tapas restaurants. During summer nights, thousands of people visit Tascas de la Fria to eat regional dishes. In September, the Fria de Albacete transforms the city for 10 days. A great many visitors fill the city streets, and the population increases fivefold. Geography. Climate. Albacete has a continental Mediterranean climate. Winters are cold while summers are hot. Winters and summers are usually dry. Because of the continental nature of the climate, there is a large temperature variation during the year. Precipitation is low and mainly concentrated in spring and autumn, usually falling in the form of rain, but there is occasional snow. Location. The city is located in the southeast of the plain of La Mancha at an elevation of about 686 m. The local soil is low in organic matter and at risk, although slight, of erosion. Albacete's Fair. Albacete Fair has been declared a fiesta of international tourist interest and takes place from September 7 to September 17. For these 10 days, the population of Albacete triples. Airport. Albacete Airport is an airport located at the Los Llanos Air Base, about 4 miles south of the city of Albacete, the capital of the province of Albacete in Castilla-La Mancha, Spain. It began operation as a civilian airport on July 1, 2003. The first flight was flown by Hola Airlines to the Balearic Islands. There are currently no scheduled services from Albacete Airport, with only charter services available. International relations. Twin towns sister cities Albacete is twinned with, Neath Port Talbot, Wales, Udn, Italy, Van, France, Bergandus, Sahara Occidental, Hounda Copyright, Burkina Faso, La Lisa, Cuba, Nankang, China, Posadas, Argentina, Reconquista, Argentina, San Carlos, Nicaragua. See also, List of municipalities in Albacete. References. External links, Albacete Events and Tourism Guide, Albacete City Hall, Albacete Guide, Monuments in 3D, Cathedral Albacete 3D, Friadi Albacete Guide, Albacete Images, Landmarks in the City of Albacete, La Realidad de Albacete.